Section 1 from the book of Genesis. Jacob was angry and argued with Laban. Jacob answered Laban, "What is my trespass? What is my sin, that you have hotly pursued me? Now that you have felt around in all my stuff, what have you found of all your household stuff? Set it here before my relatives and your relatives, that they may judge between us two. These 20 years I have been with you. Your ewes and your female goats have not cast their young, and I haven't eaten the rams of your flocks. What was torn by animals, I didn't bring to you. I bore its loss. Of my hand you required it, whether stolen by day or stolen by night. This was my situation. In the day the drought consumed me, and the frost by night, and my sleep fled from my eyes. These 20 years I have been in your house. I served you 14 years for your 2 daughters, and 6 years for your flock, and you have changed my wages 10 times. Unless the God of my father, the God of Abraham, and the fear of Isaac had been with me, surely now you would have sent me away empty-handed. God has seen my affliction and the labor of my hands, and rebuked you last night." Laban answered Jacob, "The daughters are my daughters, the children are my children, the flocks are my flocks, and all that you see is mine. What can I do today to these my daughters, or to their children whom they have borne? Now come, let's make a covenant, you and I. Let it be for a witness between me and you." Jacob took a stone and set it up for a pillar. Jacob said to his relatives, "Gather stones." They took stones and made a heap. They ate there by the heap. Laban called it Jegar Sahadutha, but Jacob called it Galaed. Laban said, "This heap is witness between me and you today." Therefore it was named Galaed and Mizpah, for he said, "Forever one watch between me and you when we are absent from one another. If you afflict my daughters, or if you take wives in addition to my daughters, no man is with us. Behold, God is witness between me and you." Laban said to Jacob, "See this heap, and see this pillar which I have set between me and you. May this heap be a witness, and the pillar be a witness, that I will not pass over this heap to you, and that you will not pass over this heap and pillar to me for harm. The God of Abraham and the God of Nahor, the God of their father, judge between us." Then Jacob swore by the fear of his father Isaac. Jacob offered a sacrifice in the mountain and called his relatives to eat bread. They ate bread and stayed all night in the mountain. Early in the morning, Laban rose up and kissed his sons and his daughters and blessed them. Laban departed and returned to his place. Section 2 from the first book of Samuel. A man of God came to Eli and said to him, "Thus says forever one, did I reveal myself to the house of your father when they were in Egypt, in slavery to Pharaoh's house? Did I choose him out of all the tribes of Israel to be my priest, to go up to my altar, to burn incense, to wear an ephod before me? Did I give to the house of your father all the offerings of the children of Israel made by fire? Why do you kick at my sacrifice and at my offering, which I have commanded in my habitation, and honor your sons above me, to make yourselves fat with the best of all the offerings of Israel my people? Therefore, forever one the God of Israel says, I said indeed that your house and the house of your father should walk before me forever. But now, forever one says, be it far from me, for those who honor me I will honor, and those who despise me shall be lightly esteemed. Behold, the days come that I will cut off your arm, and the arm of your father's house, that there shall not be an old man in your house. You shall see the affliction of my habitation in all the wealth which shall be given Israel, and there shall not be an old man in your house forever. The man of yours, whom I shall not cut off from my altar, shall be to consume your eyes and to grieve your heart, and all the increase of your house shall die in the flower of their age. This shall be the sign to you, that shall come on your 2 sons, on Hophni and Phinehas. In one day they shall both die. I will raise up a faithful priest, that shall do according to what is in my heart and in my mind. I will build him a sure house, and he shall walk before my anointed forever. It shall happen that everyone who is left in your house shall come and bow down to him for a piece of silver and a loaf of bread, and shall say, Please put me into one of the priest's offices, that I may eat a morsel of bread. The child Samuel ministered to Forever One before Eli. The word of Forever One was precious in those days. There was no frequent vision. At that time, when Eli was laid down in his place, now his eyes had begun to grow dim so that he could not see, and the lamp of God hadn't yet gone out, and Samuel had laid down to sleep in the temple of Forever One, where the ark of God was. Forever One called Samuel, and he said, Here I am. He ran to Eli and said, Here I am, for you called me. He said, I didn't call. Lie down again. He went and lay down. Forever One called yet again, Samuel. Samuel arose and went to Eli and said, Here I am, for you called me. He answered, I didn't call, my son. Lie down again. Now, Samuel didn't yet know Forever One, neither was the word of Forever One yet revealed to him. Forever One called Samuel again, the 3rd time. He arose and went to Eli and said, Here I am, for you called me. Eli perceived that Forever One had called the child. Therefore Eli said to Samuel, Go and lie down, and it shall be, if he calls you, that you shall say, Speak, Forever One, for your servant hears. So Samuel went and lay down in his place. Forever One came and stood and called as at other times, Samuel, Samuel. Then Samuel said, Speak, for your servant hears. Forever One said to Samuel, Behold, I will do a thing in Israel at which both the ears of everyone who hears it shall tingle. In that day I will perform against Eli all that I have spoken concerning his house, from the beginning even to the end. For I have told him that I will judge his house forever, for the iniquity which he knew, because his sons brought a curse on themselves, and he didn't restrain them. Therefore I have sworn to the house of Eli, that the iniquity of Eli's house shall not be removed with sacrifice nor offering forever. Samuel lay until the morning, and opened the doors of the house of Forever One. Samuel feared to tell Eli the vision. Then Eli called Samuel and said, Samuel, my son. He said, Here I am. He said, What did he say to you? Please don't hide it from me. May God do so to you and more also if you hide anything from me of all the things that he spoke to you. Samuel told him every bit and hid nothing from him. He said, It is Forever One. Let him do what seems good to him. Section 3 from the 2nd book of Chronicles. Huram continued, Blessed be Forever One, the God of Israel, that made heaven and earth, who has given to David the king a wise son, endowed with discretion and understanding, that should build a house for Forever One, and a house for his kingdom. Now I have sent a skillful man endowed with understanding, of Huram my father's, the son of a woman of the daughters of Dan, and his father was a man of Tyre, skillful to work in gold and in silver, in brass, in iron, in stone and in timber, in purple, in blue, and in fine linen, and in crimson, also to engrave any kind of engraving, and to devise any device, that there may be a place appointed to him with your skillful men, and with the skillful men of my lord David your father. Now therefore the wheat and the barley, the oil and the wine, which my lord has spoken of, let him send to his servants. and we will cut wood out of Lebanon as much as you shall need, and we will bring it to you in floats by sea to Joppa, and you shall carry it up to Jerusalem. Solomon counted all the foreigners who were in the land of Israel, after the numbering with which David his father had counted them, and they were found 153,600. He set 70,000 of them to bear burdens, and 80,000 who were stone cutters in the mountains, and 3,600 overseers to set the people to work. Then Solomon began to build the house of Forever One at Jerusalem on Mount Moriah, where Forever One appeared to David his father, which he prepared in the place that David had appointed, in the threshing floor of Ornan the Jebusite. He began to build in the 2nd day of the 2nd month, in the 4th year of his reign. Now these are the foundations which Solomon laid for the building of the house of God. The length by cubits after the first measure was 60 cubits, and the width 20 cubits. The porch that was before the house, its length according to the width of the house, was 20 cubits, and the height 120, and he overlaid it within with pure gold. The greater house he made a ceiling with fir wood, which he overlaid with fine gold, and ornamented it with palm trees and chains. He garnished the house with precious stones for beauty, and the gold was gold of Parvaim. He overlaid also the house, the beams, the thresholds, its walls, and its doors with gold, and engraved cherubim on the walls. He made the most holy house. Its length, according to the width of the house, was 20 cubits, and its width 20 cubits. And he overlaid it with fine gold, amounting to 600 talents. The weight of the nails was 50 shekels of gold. He overlaid the upper rooms with gold. In the most holy house he made 2 cherubim of image work, and they overlaid them with gold. Section 4, from the book of Mark. He went up into the mountain and called to himself those whom he wanted, and they went to him. He appointed 12, that they might be with him, and that he might send them out to preach, and to have authority to heal sicknesses, and to cast out demons. Simon, to whom he gave the name Peter, James the son of Zebedee, and John the brother of James, whom he called Boanerges, which means sons of thunder, Andrew, Philip, Bartholomew, Matthew, Thomas, James the son of Alphaeus, Thaddeus, Simon the Zealot, and Judas Iscariot, who also betrayed him. Then he came into a house. The multitude came together again, so that they could not so much as eat bread. When his friends heard it, they went out to seize him, for they said, "He is insane." The scribes who came down from Jerusalem said, "He has Beelzebul, and by the prince of demons he casts out the demons." He summoned them and said to them in parables, "How can Satan cast out Satan? If a kingdom is divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. If a house is divided against itself, that house cannot stand. If Satan has risen up against himself and is divided, he can't stand, but has an end. But no one can enter into the house of the strong man to plunder, unless he first binds the strong man. Then he will plunder his house. Most certainly I tell you, all sins of the descendants of man will be forgiven, including their blasphemies with which they may blaspheme. But whoever may blaspheme against the Holy Spirit never has forgiveness, but is subject to eternal condemnation, because they said he has an unclean spirit. His mother and his brother came, and standing outside, they sent to him, calling him. A multitude was sitting around him, and they told him, "Behold, your mother, your brothers, and your sisters are outside looking for you." He answered them, "Who are my mother and brothers?" Looking around at those who sat around him, he said, "Behold, my mother and my brothers. For whoever does the will of God is my brother, my sister, and mother,